This video will look at CSS and alignment. So in my document, I've got a div tag. I've made a class called center and just some text. So I want to center this div tag. So using the CSS and alignment, we can do this by simply calling our class, which was center, open and close our curly brackets. And now what I want to do is I want to set the margin to auto. Margin auto means that it will automatically read what space is in the browser. But to do that, I need to set a width. So what is the width that I want my div tag to be at a maximum? And I'm going to say I want my div tag to be a maximum width of 50%, and then I want it to figure out the auto margin. Now this does not look centered because the text is not what we're talking to. We're talking to the div tag. So let's put a border in so we can see that. So once I put in my black border, now you can see the div tag border looks nice and centered on the screen. And let's make that look a bit nicer. I'll add some padding so the text isn't right on the edge. So I've used margin auto to center a div tag, ensuring that I have to have a width. If I delete the width, the div tag just goes back to default, which is 100%. So you must have that. I might just want to center align the text. So if I just want to center align the text, I don't need to worry about center aligning the div tag. So to do that, I'll keep the border and padding for the moment so we can still see the div tag. And here I'm going to write text align center. So I don't want to align the div tag, I want to align the text. And that's how we see the text now move to the center of the div. Next, I want to align an image. So I'm going to remove this CSS for the moment. Go back over here and add an image in. So img src, the image source there, it's a very long URL, sorry. And I'm going to give my image a width of probably 40% just so it's not so big on the page here. So I've added my image in. Now how do you center an image? So back to my CSS, I'm talking to an image, so img, open close curly braces. Now to center an image, we need to create an inline block element. So the first thing I need to tell is make this image a block, which is display block. Once I've done that, I can simply set margin auto. So I want this to be in the center, which means I'm going to say the margin on the left to be auto and the margin on the right to be auto, which is going to then place it in the middle because it's automatically setting auto left and right values for me. And I then get a nice centered image. You have to, for this one, remember to do a display block to be able to do that. Remember, you can also use float, which we did in the previous video, for positioning. I'm going to remove that, and I'm going to remove this image just because it's taking up a lot of text there, and this time I'm going to use absolute positioning. So absolute positioning is when you want to put something in a very specific spot. So you want it to be exactly 400 pixels to the right, for instance. So once again, we're going to position our text in our div tag. So div class center. And I'm going to say position absolute. So I want this to be absolutely in one position. Once again, just quickly, I'll put in a border so we can see it. And some padding so it looks okay. So with absolute positioning, let's say I want this to be absolutely positioned directly to the right hand side. I'm going to say right, 0 pixels. So there's 0 pixels from the right, it's going to be pushed right against that border there, as you can see. I might want it to be 50 pixels in, and so on. I can keep changing that figure to get it exactly where I want it, but it's going to be absolutely fixed to that position. A great way to do vertical alignment is via your padding. So let's say I want this text to look horizontal and vertical. So I would once again go text align center, which puts my text in the middle of the div tag, and I would go padding, let's say 70 pixels. And that's going to push that down and look like the text is nicely centered inside. So you can use padding to get vertical alignment as well.